Hey guys, and welcome to Heart to Whole. This is our second episode, and we are picking up where we left off last time. Last time we talked about how we met and got together and these military boot camp experience, and then
you need to introduce yourself.
I'm Rolanda.
Oh, Danielle, she going all in, ain't she? Go ahead.
Okay. Now that we done that, sorry about that. So today we're supposed to pick up where we left off and talk about, I know we left some things out of our story of how we met and said we'll get back to it, so we'll touch on that a little bit, and then our introduction to Hawaii and like the first part of our relationship, the first year of moving in together, getting to know each other and stuff like that. So the things we left off on, I think we mentioned that Danielle was married, but she was separated. So she could take it away from here.
Dang, that's tough. All right, so let's see here. And let's see, how can I start this off? So I met this guy in high school, and he was already in college. So there was a 4-year gap. I want to say it was his junior year maybe, and I think it might have been my freshman or leading into my sophomore year. And I met him with being in church. And
so your sophomore year in high school and his junior year in college.
Yeah. And so we met like in church or whatever like that. And, I was deep in the church at the time, and, just be like, oh yeah, I finally met my one and all this other kind of going on. And I just thought in my eyes that there was just nobody else. He was just it. Then we got, we started dating. My parents didn't care for him too much, but, I still just ignored, what they had to say about it, because I'm like, well, you don't have to date him, I do. And so we just still, continue to date and on and off. Of course, like every other couple, you have your ups and downs. But, we dealt with it, and, we ended up getting married, I want to say, in 2003, I want to say. I can't remember. I want to say it was somewhere up in there. 22 going on 23, if I'm not mistaken. And that was just something in its own self where I think that's the beginning of where the signs start to come to play, because at that time when he proposed or whatever, he had a job, and then as we were going further into the wedding planning, he didn't have a job. So he had like his little pension or whatever, and that he was using his money from that to pay. And then I didn't have a job because I was just still trying to get my stuff together. And I just graduated in 2003. I just graduated college, so I didn't have a job just yet. So I'm just steadily applying for it and whatever like that. But I don't know why we rushed, because he proposed. I want to say he proposed and we got married like a couple months later. So that was kind of rushed in its own self. But anyway, we went through it. And the funny thing is, my dad was like, now, before we walk down this aisle now, are you sure that you want to go through with this? Because we can go ahead and turn back around right now. And little did I know, I should have just went ahead and listened to what he said and be like, yeah, Dad, just going on out there telling people this ain't it. Because, I mean, you're battling. It's a battle when you are trying to appease the people and who's always like in the church and just holier than thou, and you just want to appease them, but still in the back of your mind you're battling the person who you really want to be.
Yeah.
And so that was just a struggle. And I tell her all the time, on that wedding night, that's when I knew I effed up. It just wasn't it.
That's when it set in.
Yeah, it just wasn't it. And I mean, you know, I forced myself through, you know, all the sextivities and all this other kind of going on. And I mean, you know, in the dating stages, it was cool. But as we gotten further along in the relationship, I mean, because we was in a relationship for a couple of years or whatever the case is. And
yeah.
As I got older, I was like, dang, I don't know. I don't want to back out because we done already put forth all this money into it.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, it was just a mistake. So, fast forward to maybe okay, so yeah, well, not even fast forward. Fast forward just a little bit. So after we got married, I had ended up getting my job finally up in North Carolina where he was. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, great. That is so cool. I'm going to go ahead and get my own apartment. Mind you, he lost his job, so he didn't have a job yet. So I'm, you know, pretty much making money for the household pretty much. And he'd already depleted all of his money. And so we was pretty much using mine. At the time, you know, I was like, okay, that's what married people do, blah, blah, blah. But then as it just kept going, I'm like, okay, a couple of months passed and you still don't have a job.
Yeah.
And then I'm just like, okay, when you gonna go ahead and kick in? And I asked him, I was like, okay, so are you thinking about getting a job? Like, what's happening? He was like, oh, I've been working so hard and I just really needed a break, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna look. So he said that, and a year passed, and that's when he finally ended up getting a job. And so when he got a job, I ended up losing mine. And I hadn't even been out of a job for like a month or two. And then he had the nerve to say, when you getting out there? I was like, what?
You should have told him you needed a little break.
Yeah, I was like, dang. So that just like hurt. Like, and so of course that just even pushed me even away, because I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm doing everything that I was supposed to do, or what I felt that I was supposed to do as a wife to sustain, you know, the household and make sure that the light's still on. I mean, you know, you down, I'm going to help you. And so I would expect the same in return when I'm down. I don't want to hear you say, when you going to get that job?
Right. After
I done supported you for a year.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't like that. So fast forward just a little further. It just wasn't clicking. So what I suppressed with wanting to be with a female started inching up a little bit by a little bit.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I just want to know, like, what's it like? And that's how we gonna get into me developing a friendship with this girl. But then as I'm developing a friendship, it's like simultaneously happen. I'm developing a friendship with this person, and then my relationship with my husband at the time is just
like fading away.
Yeah. And so I just couldn't do it. So he would be trying to kiss me and all that. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want that. You go in that room, I'm gonna stay in this room. We ain't having none of that, because you know, in the state of North Carolina, you have to be separated for a year. Yeah. And so we separated, but still within the same household, but I was in a different bedroom than what he was. So that was pretty good. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna want this divorce here. And then he had the nerve to say, well, if you want this divorce, you pay for it. I said, dang. This dude here, you show your real colors now, didn't you? Mm-hmm. I said, okay, well, I don't have the means for it right now because, you know, this is new to me. I don't know anything about no divorce and what that all entails, the paperwork and all this other kind of stuff. So I'm just going to ride it out. All right, we just going to put you in the back burner, but we gonna be in the same household, but look, don't touch me, don't do nothing, I don't want you, none of this other kind of going on.
Yeah.
So while that's going on, I'm talking to this girl. She was from New York and all this other kind of stuff. So we was talking to her.
We was talking to her.
I mean, my bad. I didn't even know you didn't. Child, you know what I mean.
Because you was already talking to her before.
Yeah, I was about to say before you came into the picture.
Yeah, before I started everything.
Yeah. So you started in what, 2006 or 7?
Maybe 6.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was already, you know, kind of talking to that girl, and she finally came into the picture of being in the Red Cross, and so I kind of felt that there was some kind of connection between us. Didn't know how, you know, strong that it could have gotten or anything like that, because it was like the girl who I was talking to was like possessive, because I would be at work and all you would see is the darn Bluetooth in my ear. And so she would just get pissed and just be like, well, how am I supposed to develop some kind of relationship with you when the girl is just always in here? I can't even get no conversation in.
That's why we was saying on the other, on our first video, that we didn't really talk at work, but we still some kind of way connected. And like when we work very well together. And like, okay, she got one part, I got another part, because she was always on the phone with the girl. So it wasn't like, it wasn't even like I was trying to talk to her in hopes of being together. But even like as a friendship at work and stuff, I knew she was cool, but I could never talk to her because the girl was on the phone the whole time. So if she would hear somebody talking in the background, she'd be like, who is that? But they talk like, so it wasn't really a lot of room for us to talk. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk to her. And then this girl asking everything about what we were talking about. So we just really didn't talk, but we just still was connected without the talking. So I think that's how we figured out that, like, okay, it's something more here, but we couldn't really tell what it was because the girl was on the phone. You know, they was trying to develop their relationship and I didn't want to butt in there. And plus at the time, I didn't really feel like or knew what kind of feelings I had for her because I've never been with a girl. So I'm like, okay, well, I just stay over here or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, way better when I come to work. Hey. And then we get this work done. But I think the more we work with each other, we just seen like how well we work together. And I'm real big on, like, I don't know, I don't really feel like I have a type. I just know like certain characteristics I have to have in somebody who I'm talking to. And I don't like for people to be lazy. Like, I like somebody that's going to be a hard worker like me that has goals and aspirations. We can have conversations, you know what I'm saying? Like deep conversations, stuff like that. I'm more into intellect and all of that type of stuff. So for us to be able to work together so well, even without talking, and like how the harder I work, the harder she worked, you know what I mean? Like we just had each other back in that way. So even if people was slacking off at work, we was fussing at them to get back in the game so we could finish up work earlier. Like even our bosses, they didn't really do anything because they knew we had the whole team. So they'd be like, y'all decide how this gonna go tonight. So me and Danielle would get together and be like, okay, you do this part, I do this part. And then we would like split the team up into like areas that we know they was good at and would work that way so that we would get all the work done early and could like take it easy the rest of the night until, you know, some more work came in and stuff like that.
Go to sleep, take a little nap.
Right, take breaks and stuff. But we worked hard at the beginning so that we could do that. So I just really liked that about her, that she was a go-getter like me, because a lot of times you don't find that. And a lot of times that's where in relationships I stopped liking people, because you're not gonna hold my attention long if you're not a hard worker and, like, you know what I mean, going about things that way too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it was a couple of months of her being in my ear and all of this going back and forth, and then, so we finally progressed at what I was going to bring the girl back to where I was. And mind you, I'm just so ashamed to even say it, child.
I mean, no need to be ashamed of, right? Yeah.
Yo, I never even like met her other than, you know, a little voice. Like did we? I guess we had like a little voice chat. I mean, was it FaceTime back then? I don't even know
if we had FaceTime or not.
I don't know. It seemed like I don't know. If
video chat, if not FaceTime, you could video.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, so maybe I'll video chat.
Oh, dang. I don't know. It was just so long ago, man. I don't know, like, what all happened. But anyway, so it was like,
so you met her online, right?
Yeah.
And y'all was playing some kind of game together or something.
Yeah.
And then end up talking more.
Yeah, because she was, I mean, at the time, you know, I just felt like, okay, yeah, she was real cool or whatever like that. And I mean, we shared like common interests. And so I guess that just, and the curiosity of me wanting to be with a female and just wanting to try it out. I didn't even have to have like no real relationship. You know, I just wanted to, you know, just try it out. I mean,
see what it was all about.
Yeah, I mean, develop a friendship, but not like a relationship. You know,
yeah.
Because I just ain't gonna be looking at nobody, as anybody. but yeah. So, we finally. The thing is, I had to go and get her, and it wasn't just her. It was her and her kids. She had a daughter and a son. Whew. And they weren't like they were little. They were like, I think one was a teenager and one was like I don't know, probably like 8 or 9 or so. I don't know. She probably be younger than that. But child, I drove that long trip to New York to go and get them. And then, you know, I just be like, you know how you just get that feeling like you're like, oh, I just made a mistake. So I just, in my mind, I was thinking like, okay, she said that she about to go do something for her uncle or about to go do something. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, this should be my exit. I should just go ahead and go.
Oh, so like when you got up there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because when I saw her and then when everything, and you know, just how everything just transpired, I was like, yeah, nah, I don't think this is it.
Yeah.
But me being the person that I am, I was like, well, I done already drove all this way, and I already told her that, you know, she can, you know, move with me, and I already had the housing situation already situated so she can come and stay, you know, with her and the kids and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I just should have known from the flags what she was talking about with her always being in my ear. Like, she just being so possessive. You know, I should have just followed signs then. But child, we brought her on home. To make it sound like she was a pet. But anyway, we brought her on home. And then, I mean, you know, for the beginning stages, it was okay. But then it just got like, when I'm trying to go with Ro or just hang out with people from work or whatever like that, she would just try to hide my keys. I mean, just do stupid stuff to piss me off because she just wanted me to herself. Yeah. And I mean, I feel that I'm a likable, you know, person, and you know, I tend to get along with people. I would think. Yeah. But she just wasn't having that. She just wanted me to herself and herself alone, and I just couldn't.
I remember I had invited you to Thanksgiving, and you had went to my family's house for Thanksgiving, but it was still like, we still didn't get a chance to talk. We'd have been working together for almost a year and a half or something like that. We never talked at work. And then she was like, well, she didn't have family around. I was like, well, I'm going to my uncle's house. You can go if you want. And she was like, oh, okay. But then when the day came, she followed me there in her car. So I'm like, why would you follow me? We ride down all the same roads to go to the same place. We live in the same area. That don't even make sense. So
the reason why that was because the girl who I was talking to at the time was like, yeah, no, you should just go ahead and drive your own car, because what if she stayed longer than what she anticipated and you ready to go and you can't leave, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, all right. So that's how that went.
It was crazy because the ride was like almost an hour, and she riding behind me for this whole hour. And then we get there, and you talking with family and stuff like that, and she really didn't know anybody. And I think, was the girl on the phone then too? She might have been calling during Thanksgiving. I can't remember.
Probably. I don't know.
But yeah, so
I can't remember.
Went to my family's house for Thanksgiving, but it was still like we never got a chance to talk. I just invited her because, her family wasn't here or whatever. And then we got back, we both rode back in our cars, and she went home. So it was still like, but it's just so weird though, because we still felt like we knew each other. We still never had a whole conversation.
Yo, yeah, that was a crazy time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I done upgraded. Anyway, all right, so we're going a little further. So, June, I'm still with the girl. We still working together. So in June of 2009.
Oh, and that's why you switch shifts too, what I was saying in the first episode.
Oh, yeah.
She had switched shifts because the girl and her kids was coming, and so she needed to be on second shift. But I was like, what? I
can't even remember why I needed to switch shift. Was
something
it because
about
of school or something?
Yeah, something about school or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And so I was just upset because I'm like, okay, now my buddy leaving. First of all, we worked real good together. We ain't really got a chance to talk yet, but I still feel like it's my friend. So I'm like, now my friend leaving. And we was the only, it was what, 3 girls on the shift. I was about to say it was the only 2 girls, but it was another lady that came, I think at the end or something like that. So it was mostly guys we was working with and stuff. So I was like, dang, I gotta be here by myself and all of this. So yeah, that's why she switched shifts.
Anywho, all right. So in June 2009, my dad ended up passing away. So it was a sad time, but also a blessing, because I got rid of her. Because when my dad passed away, like I always tell her and whoever asks about how I ended up being in the military, my dad, he always wanted at least one of his kids to be in there, like I said in the last video. And I said, hey, why not me? I'm in this situation. Not to say that, she was the reason why I got in there. Yeah. But I just needed an out, seemed like. And I just, it was just so much other things because of my husband at the time. I done left him. Yeah. Not divorced yet, but I left him. Right. And so he off doing his thing, and I'm, God knows what he was doing. And I was doing my own thing, and I was like, yeah, no, I just need a change in scenery, and I just got to go. Yeah.
And when people pass away and you go through that grief, you kind of reevaluate your life, what's important to you and what's not, you know what I mean? So that was probably some of it too. Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, well, here I am. Don't know nothing about the military other than what you see on TV, and then, from the outside looking in, but you don't really know what's going on like behind the scenes or whatever. So, child, I said, yep, I'm going to go ahead and do it. I told my mom and everything. I was like, yeah, Mom, I think I'm going to do it. What you think? She's like, yeah, go ahead and do it. So I went ahead and I did it. I was wanting to be in the Air Force, but at the time, my age, I was So they said I was too old at the time. Still in my 20s, but it was, I think I missed the cutoff by a couple of months. I feel like they could have gave me a waiver or something. But anyway, so I ended up joining the Army. Child, didn't know nothing about the Army. Like, not nothing. So I had to study the little ASVAB test for a couple of months just so, you know, I can get a high enough score to, you know, get at least a good job, at least what I felt.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting a paralegal job in the military, and I was like, oh, okay. I told my recruiter, yeah, I don't know, because I wanted to do something else. Because I wanted to do like something in the medical field, but it was like, yeah,
right.
In order for you to do something in the medical field, you have to start as a combat medic, and I wasn't having that because then I would have to go down range and all that kind of stuff, and I know she not having that.
No.
I mean, not that you can, you know, help that, because who's to say,
right? Yeah.
I, you know, go into one of these other kind of units, then as soon as you touch down in the battalion, you gone.
Right, yeah.
So, but the chances were very slim with me being as a paralegal. So
yeah,
I was like, oh, okay. So the recruiter's like, yeah, you just need to go ahead and take this, because you'll be crazy not to take it.
Right, yeah.
I said, all right. So, child, I'm in there. I'm about to go on in. So, of course, I told the girl. She was pissed about it, because she was like, I moved down here for you, blah, 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 and you about to, me and my kids, and now you about to leave, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, all right. Play the guilt trip is what it was. And so, you know, me being, you know, the kindness of my heart, I was like, yeah, you know, you right. So what I'm going to do is, I think I left in December. So I said, you have until February to get it together, because I know by that time you should have your income tax.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be it right there. All right.
So did it feel like, okay, while you was transitioning and knew this was not what you wanted and you wanted to go to the military, did it feel like she was still into you, or like she was kind of distant? You know what I mean? Like,
I would say that, yeah, she was into me, but then I just cut her off too. Like, my feelings for her weren't going anywhere, because I, you know, put a stop to her trying to be so controlling. Like, okay, I'm not going to be answering this phone or being on the phone with you while I'm at work now.
Right.
Come on now. And then once I stopped that, then I started getting to know you better.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm like, dang, all this time you was right here. I didn't even have to go looking nowhere else or anything like that. But you came into the game late.
I came in late. Shit. Never on me.
Oh, but anyway, so I was like, yeah. So I ended up leaving. She ended up staying in the place I was in. I told the landlord, hey, transition my name off of this and put it in hers, because I'm about to be gone. And the rent will be paid up until February. After that, she on her own.
Yeah.
Don't look for me, because I'll be gone.
Yeah.
So then, let me see. I went to boot camp.
So let me just say, for my dating history, it's not as deep as hers, just because I've never been married. I've never lived with anybody. I don't really claim to have had a real serious, long-lasting relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was in relationships that lasted a long time, but it was like back and forth, unhealthy. I think for me, growing up, I always envisioned what I wanted, and what I wanted was to, you know, find my partner early, get married and all of that. Like, I was a good church girl, saving my virginity. Maybe not until marriage, but I wanted to save it until I found the person that I seen myself marrying. So I was a virgin until into my 20s. But
it won't me who took her virginity, just in case y'all want to know.
Calm down. But yeah, so and then the first guy that I talked to, I'm like, okay, this is gonna be like the one that's, we're gonna eventually get married. Of course, we was like college age, and we was gonna go to college or whatever like that. But we're gonna eventually get back together and get married and have kids and stuff like that. But mentally, he had some mental issues going on, and I really didn't know that. So for me, I internalized all the stuff he was doing as in, okay, maybe I'm not good enough or a good girl, or you know what I mean? Like, it had me questioning myself when like as a kid, I knew exactly who I was. Like, like, this is me. I know I'm a good person and all of this. But then when I met him, it made me question who I was, because I'm like, okay, I thought I was a good person, but if I'm a good person, then why would somebody treat me like this? Not really understanding mental health and, how everything works with mental health. So meaning certain things that he went through that I didn't understand wasn't because of me at all. It was just things he was going through and he didn't know how to explain it. So it would be like, okay, we started talking. We ended up going to 2 different colleges, but it would be like, we'll talk on the phone some, but then he'll go months without talking to me, or be like, oh yeah, I'm studying so hard, I don't have time. But then he'll come back months later and then be like, where you been? You know what I mean? Like, and then make it feel like it's all me. And I'm like, I've been right here. I called you several times and you never answered. So I stopped calling. So it was just like a pattern of him leaving, coming back like that. And then every time it'll be like, make it feel like it's me who stopped talking to him. And then so we'll start talking again, and I'll explain what I need out of a relationship, and we, I guess, get back together, but really don't talk about if it's a real relationship or, what exactly it was. And then the same thing will happen again. So it was like years later. I probably talked to him from the time I was 19, till I was like 24, 20. I really don't even know. It was a while. It was like probably right before I moved to the city where we and started working with you, is when I really stopped talking to him for good. And it was just like his mom really loved me and she really wanted me around and stuff. So I felt like a sense of family, but then at the same time, like, I don't know, it was just complicated, because I'm like, what exactly we doing here? And why do I feel so bad about it? But I think it like tore me down some, because I couldn't figure out what exactly was going on. And he never had a real conversation to say, hey, I'm feeling a certain kind of way, or, I get sad sometimes or depressed, and that's why I leave out and come back. He never really explained what was happening. So it was like he was partying a lot, and then he would come back, then he'll go part. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever he was doing at college, it was something other than.
It sound like drugs or something.
Yeah. I don't know if it was drugs or alcohol or just mental health or a combination of all of it, because we never had that conversation. But just in me growing more and, going to college, studying psychology and stuff like that, I got to a point where I'm like, okay, this is not me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm internalizing this for all these years and beating myself up and feeling like, okay, maybe I'm not as good of a girl as I thought I was, but actually it's him and his issue. Which, when I learned that, I didn't have any ill will against him, because I understand, like, mental health is a serious thing, and at that age he may not have known, how to explain it or what exactly he was going through. But I just feel like, as a human being or somebody who really cares about somebody, I feel like you should at least cut them loose. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I don't really know what's going on with me right now. I think it's best for us to separate. Is what I wished he would have done. But I don't really, look at him any kind of way, because he didn't know how to explain that, because I think we was both young. But I think it changed my perspective on dating, because I was looking at, okay, I'm gonna find the love of my life, get married, have kids, live my career as a teacher and all of this stuff. But then when that happened, I'm like, okay, so what was I doing all this for? Like, why was I going to be saving myself? Why was I going to be a good girl for somebody to get married to if this is what I'm going to find? So then I just pretty much kind of became a player.
Being reckless. Oh, dang.
So, I don't know. I wouldn't say a player, but I didn't trust people like that. You know what I mean? So,
Just a hit it and quit it.
no, not a hit it. Not a hit it and quit it, guys. It was just I only trusted people to a certain extent. So I never really let people in to who I fully was.
Yeah.
I just showed them like the top 2 layers or whatever. But I would still have people like really care about me and fall for me, even though I know I wasn't giving them but 10%. You know what I mean? Like, I knew I wasn't giving them all of who I was, but I just feel like people are, especially guys, was drawn to me because I didn't judge them. And like, we can have a conversation about anything. And I think sometimes in life it's hard for guys to have a conversation about how they really feel because they feel like girls or women would judge them for it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I think for them to be in a situationship, relationship with me, whatever it was, and be able to be honest about however they felt, I think was new to them. So it was almost like I was like a booty call life coach.
What the world?
So because I was somebody they could talk to and really share their feelings with.
Golly. Yo, what kind of mess is that?
But on the flip side of things, I'm also a very, how do I say? I pay attention to details when it comes to people and how people move. So I also know when you're not ready to be in a full relationship with me. You know what I mean? Because yeah, you're open with me and you're telling me emotionally how you feel, but you're also have eyes for different women, or you're messaging other people, or certain stuff just don't add up. You know what I mean? And so I was cool with a lot of people. I don't think anybody I ever dated was like a horrible person. I think they were all good people. They just wasn't people for me long term.
Yeah.
Just because I know what I was, eventually looking for, and they didn't have that. Because I don't want to be questioning what you're doing all the time, or are you being honest with me, or putting pieces together about the stories you're telling me. I just know for me, the Aquarius girl that I am, that was just not gonna work for me, because I like people to be honest, hard facts, what's going on, and we take it from there. You know what I'm like?
Yeah.
Just live an honest life.
And I guess for you, that's what was different from how it was with me, because you already had, like you said, when you was a little kid, in a sense, you already knew what you wanted, how you wanted things to be played out, or what characteristics you were looking for in people, and stuff like that. As for me, I'm battling, so it's like I really don't know, so I'm just like going from person to person, in a sense, just to try to figure it out. Yeah. And then when I got with you, and then I was like, oh man, so this is what I've been looking for.
Yeah.
And so it just clicked, and then I just knew.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with my past, I knew what I didn't want more than what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. Okay.
So I didn't have a vision of who that person would be, and I was kind of open-minded even as a kid. Like, I didn't know whether I like girls or not. I don't know.
I think you did.
I don't know if I did or not. But
you always tell me no.
Yeah. I mean, it could have been a thing, but I was just, men was what I knew. I'm going to say it like that. And I didn't really, but I wasn't closed off to where if I met a girl that I really like, that I'm just going to run from her because it's something that I don't know, just because I'm open-minded enough to be like, okay, well, I don't know what this feeling is, but let's see what it's about. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that kind of person to just shut it off like that. I guess the more that I grew, the more open-minded I became about that. Like, whatever the package is that someone is in doesn't really matter. Now, I say this all the time, that if anything happened between me and Danielle, I couldn't see myself being with another woman. Let me say that.
Yeah, I don't think so either for me. I just tell her it's not even me wanting to be with like if something was to happen to us, me being with anyone. I told her, no, I'll just rather be off to myself because I'm just a homebody. I don't like big crowds of people. I don't like being around people like that.
Yeah.
Now, if I'm in the environment, where it's her and I feel comfortable, then yeah, I'll let you in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, if something was ever to happen to us, there's nobody else. I just couldn't.
She say that, but I still believe, like,
why? Knowing the person that I am and how I don't like people like that. So how would you think that?
But I just feel like things happen in life in a weird way too. Where, like if something happens to me or we part ways, which would never happen, that life will bring you somebody else to fulfill that place that you didn't know was coming either. You know what I mean? So I understand her saying that if nobody showed up that had the package that she wanted. But if someone showed up and they was like 10 times better than me, you're going to surely be like, this is amazing, and talk to them.
I just don't know, like, because then it's the fact that, look, I'm older and I'm getting old, and so for you to be able, and I know it's nothing wrong with being able to start over,
right? Yeah,
but I don't want to have to start all over again, get to know people all over again, developing that friendship, then relationship, and all this and all of that. No, I say that now, and like you said, you never know what the future holds if something, God forbid, was something to happen. But I just,
I think it would be harder just because, like, if you live your life and you are searching for someone that's genuine and kind and loving and all that, and you never found it, it's easier for you to go from one relationship and go to another one. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you was married to somebody for 10, 20 years, but it was just something that wasn't really there, then you would still have that desire to feel that. But I think since we're together and we totally feel that, then if anything happened, it would be harder to move on from that, because anybody that comes in, you're gonna see what they're lacking that the other person had. So that would probably be the thing where I can see that you would, just stay by yourself, because
I just plan on staying by myself, period, no matter what she say. But
no, okay. If another me showed up and you be like,
a younger version of you,
not younger. No, wait a minute. Yeah, a 30-year-old version of me.
Dang, that's tough.
I don't know if I would, but it probably wouldn't be a lady. Just say that, because I just feel like she's. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm just envisioning what you used to say when you're not really saying the real thing of what you say, but it's along the lines. Go ahead.
I just feel like she has the perfect blend of like masculine and feminine. I personally don't, how do I say this? I don't.
Please, let me hear.
Like how sensitive and stuff women are. I don't cater to that, I guess, or, you know what I mean? But you're not sensitive in that way. Like, even if, how do I say this? I don't know. I just think women in general is more sensitive usually than guys are.
Give an example for the people.
I'm just mean they're more emotional. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, there you go.
Creatures, we're more emotional.
Yeah.
But I'm not a overly emotional person where you always gotta look out for my feelings.
Oh, right. Like walking on the eggshells and stuff like that. Yeah.
So to be with a lady and she's more emotional than you, I wouldn't be able to deal with that because now I gotta be the more masculine figure. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
We don't see ourselves as like, I'm feminine, she's masculine. We don't carry those labels. We just are who we are. Like, we may dress a little different, but out of the two of us, who put on heels first would probably be her.
What?
Heels? You put on heels before me?
No,
yes,
not no more.
I'm
saying, it depends on
if you had a wedding or something like that.
Oh, okay,
you would put a heel on. I'm not doing it.
Okay.
So it's like we don't go by those. You know, I feel like a lot of times in lesbian relationships, they still try to carry on the heterosexual roles, like who's the man, who's the woman. We don't do that.
Yeah. We
just live in our truth of who we are. We both have masculine qualities, both have feminine qualities, of course, as everybody does. But it's not like I have to every day live in my feminine because she is the masculine one, or she has to every day live in her masculine because I'm the feminine one. No, it's whatever we need in whatever day it is. That right. You know what I mean? Like, so if she needs to be more feminine in that day, it's not like I'm questioning her or not there for her because she needs that. No, I'm gonna lean into that and give her more what she needs. But I feel like it's not a she's not very emotionally sensitive to where I have to cradle her or baby her. You know what I mean? like I don't know how to explain it, but
yeah. So
I think that quality I wouldn't be able to deal with in a woman. I don't know. I hope I explained it in the right way.
Yeah, I think you did good.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I just feel like who she is came into my life at the right time where I was looking for, okay, what does my future hold? You know what I mean? And so like I talked to different people and stuff. Like she was saying on the other one that when we went out for her going away party, I was talking to the boy from work, kinda, whatever. And
situationship.
Yeah, something like that. And so he was the one who pushed her up to like trying to push her to talk to me and stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, so I just had a lot of relationships that didn't quite develop, but no hard feelings. It was just where everybody was at that stage in their life. And I feel like I've always been way more mature than people my age, so it was hard for me to connect with other people in their 20s anyway, because yeah, I'm in my 20s, but my mindset is 40. So it was always like a disconnect, or I'm there supporting somebody else who's the same age as me because I have more knowledge than they have, just because of how I grew up in my past and stuff like that.
Well, I just feel that we were in different relationships and all of that, but I just feel like those relationships were developing us to be able to be where we are right now for each other, I feel. Yeah.
And I remember, like, I'm trying to think if it was on that Thanksgiving. It was one drive where I was going home. I don't know if it was the drive for Thanksgiving or another time that I was going home, but I just remember like praying and saying that I wanted to find, like my person in life, someone to be there for me, and like, when is that person gonna come? And you know what I mean? Because I don't know, I just felt like I was never gonna find that person. So I remember having that prayer, like, okay, when is this person gonna come for me? Like somebody who I can build my family and my relationship with. And then it was like probably like a month or two before we really started talking, maybe.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that last 6 months was where I had that prayer and all of that at. And then I was like, okay. So then whenever it did unfold to where we started talking, then I had to kind of figure out where that left me, like spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, yeah.
in church, spiritually, in my walk with God, where does that leave me? Because I prayed for this thing. I asked for a partner that's gonna be there for me no matter what, and be my support system, and I be there, you know what I'm saying, and care about things as much as I do, and not have it be like one-sided where I'm giving all, well, like, you know, reaching out more to you, making sure you're okay and all of that, but you're not doing the same for me. So then, okay, now we met, like, we really clicked. Now what for my relationship with God and all of that?
Yeah, that's all we have.
So we'll pick up from here next time. We'll I guess talk about our when we moved to Hawaii, and then our spiritual journey, some, I guess, on the next episode.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you. See you next time.
Peace.
Bye.